All right, class. Good to have you in this morning. I pray everyone has had an amazing evening, got some good rest, and we jump right on in this morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I want to pretty much close out this chapter and begin review for the exam next week. All right. I'm going to email the chapter 5 study guide. You can study it over the weekend. If you already have it, kudos to you. But I'm going to email it to you so you can study it over the weekend. Go into the portal as often as you need. I'm going to repeat myself. I see some people still coming in. Good morning. Good morning. Clock in on home base. And then
Good morning.
good morning. All right. So we're just getting started this morning. We're going to close out 5 today, and then we're going to prepare for our exam next week. So Monday, we're going to do there we go. Mute. All right. All right. So Monday, we are going to go over the questions on the study guide. I'm going to email the study guide to you. Take this weekend to do study Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we'll review study guide on Monday, and we'll exam on Wednesday. Okay. And so I'm super excited about seeing the assessment for skin analysis. All right, as we begin to move on. So let's look at examples of skin conditions. When we looked at these skin conditions and descriptions, I wanted you to really focus on these. I think it was last week. I really wanted you to focus on these because this is what you see. This is what you're going to see all the time, okay? And here's the thing, when these are issues that go on with the skin. I told you I'm a stickler for case studies. You're going to see clients come in with these issues. If you didn't have clients come in with these issues, you really wouldn't have a job. Okay. We are supposed to be solutions. Everybody wants a solution to what's going on with the skin. So our scope of practice, we can help them as much as possible and then refer them out if it gets to a place we can not assist them anymore. But this is the fun part, okay? This is the absolute fun part. Identifying the skin condition, knowing the description of them, and then saying, hey, these are some things in my scope of practice, because you can treat conditions, what we should do for your skin. All right. And it's a great teaching mechanism, a great teaching tool as well. Because I always talk about you training your eye. Okay. And so in training your eye, you'll also be training yourself on how to solve problems. And these conditions will be considered problems. Okay. Problems with skin. So we looked at acne, intensive keratosis, aging, asphyxiated skin. We talked about just smoker skin just being clogged and needing detox. And especially if you know people who've been smoking for a long time, that's something you absolutely know. Hey, we know we got to get in there and detox those pores. Individuals who have dealt with comedones. We talked about closed comedones, open comedones, blackheads, whiteheads, things of that nature. Cuperose skin, dealing with blood vessels, redness. We talked about cysts. Of course, when they're not flared up, you can work around them. But if they're flared up or burst, you cannot treat them. Do not treat cysts, light, and extraction. Okay, they need to go. And you know when it has signs of redness, swelling, skin is tight, that is not something you're supposed to be treating because it could burst. Dehydrated skin is, remember, it's a lack of water, whereas dry skin is a lack of oil. Okay. Enlarged pores is holding on to excess oil. Okay. Added dirt, sweat can cause this to turn into breakouts, pimples, things of that nature. Enlarged pores, I'm definitely going to prepare to treat this client for oily skin. Okay, so we're going to have clay masks, we're going to have extractions, we're going to have whatever we can to pull as much oil out. But also, if there's breakout pimples there, we're going to use high frequency one to help shrink those pores down. All right. We talked about herpes simplex 1, which is like fever blisters. Of course, when there's an active breakout, we are not treating them as well. Okay. Hirsutism, excess body hair located in regions where hair is not normally present. What I like to say is an abnormal amount of hair in places where women don't normally have hair. All right. And so you look at it as this. Why does a woman have a beard? She has hirsutism. She has hair in places, an excessive amount of hair in places that women don't usually have hair. Okay. Definitely PCOS could be a possible cause of it. And when we get to PCOS, we're talking about hormonal imbalance. We're talking about dealing with the reproductive system and the endocrine system. All right. So we may have a lot of women that may have abnormal hair growth. Hyper, we talked about being a lot of, so it's hyperkeratinization. That's a buildup of dead skin cells, so it makes the skin dark. Okay, and feeling leathery, so it changes the texture of the skin. Hyperpigmentation. Now we have an abundance of melanin in a particular area where that melanin needs to be easily distributed. It starts to accumulate in one particular area. Hypertrichosis is excessive hair growth. Okay, whether it's called from hormonal imbalance or heredity, hypertrichosis, excessive hair growth, which means where you should have vellus and lanugo hair, you have terminal hair. Okay. And so a lot of times people choose on the face to do dermaplaning. Let me make it clear, Tennessee does not, Tennessee forbids estheticians to use blades on the face. All right. So that means when we want to do dermaplaning, traditionally we see these videos, we can't do it because our light Tennessee restricts us from using blades. Okay, so we can't use a dermaplane needle. But what we can use is still go through the process, but we have to use a protected blade. Okay, and you said, Ms. Cost, what's that? What's a protected blade? Go into the beauty supply store and you see the little tool that people use for their eyebrows. That will be the protected blade. That's what we could use for dermaplane. Okay. So we can just follow the same steps, but they have different things for different states. So depending on where this person is from, they may be able to use a blade. Now here's the thing: everybody in Tennessee don't follow the law. So even if you go into a salon or spa, be prepared to see people doing stuff opposite of what their license allows. Okay, and as an educator, I just have to make sure I give you the law. I have no control of what you do outside of that, but I do want to tell you, you have to be mindful of waivers and consultation forms and legal accountability. Okay. So I don't want you to do anything that gets you sued or anything. If you're going to be using a blade, make sure you get some advanced training on the blade. Okay. And for many individuals, we got to make sure I would start. And I usually, when I teach dermaplaning, I start my students out with a kiwi. Okay. And let's see how much can we shave the hair off the kiwi. And if you can shave the hair off the kiwi, you're ready for a blade. If you have a lot of nicks in the kiwi, you're not ready for a blade. Those nicks will be the same nicks that you'll put in somebody's skin, same little cuts. And so now we'll have a problem because this person's cut up all over the face. Hypopigmentation, hypo meaning a lack of melanin in a particular area, hypo, lack, pigmentation, color. So it's a lack of color. Okay. And you'll find this in albinism, post-traumatic, UV-induced, okay, just different autoimmune diseases. So you will find hypopigmentation. You'll find a lack of melanin in certain areas. Keratosis, again, when you see keratin, keratosis, hyperkeratosis, we're inducing rough texture. It should tell you that something is not soft like it's supposed to be. Melasma is one of those things that we're going to continue to talk about. It is more and more research about melasma has come out, and a lot of it is due to hormonal side effects from birth control, from the shots to the pills. Um, Somebody could have it after a sunburn, so they're healed from the sunburn and skin healing. But then you got pigmentation that's out of whack. Um, so many things. Most of the time, you have to let it process, go through the process. Okay. Papules, blemishes, breakouts, pore elasticity is going to increase aging. Pore elasticity is going to increase aging. Okay. And that aging, you'll see by wrinkles. When you see scars, okay, if you have someone that is just say in their 20s and 30s, their skin easily starts to repair itself. Okay, easily starts to repair itself. But as your clients get older, all right, the skin doesn't repair itself as fast. And then a lot of times, people who pick at their skin with their nails, we carry bacteria everywhere. So they pick at their pimples, um, and they burst their pimples out with their fingers. We can have an issue with scarring after that. Okay. And so that's why I do your extraction tool. And then for every extraction, we come back in once the area is dry, and we use high frequency. And directly how the state allows you to use it. When using high frequency, um, you're going to eliminate, close that pore down, and eliminate bacteria. So you're going to eliminate scarring. So a lot of times individuals may have little scar marks where pimples used to be, but that's because they picked at it. Okay. When they come to an esthetician, the esthetician can start working to counteract hyperpigmentation and healing. Okay. And build healing in that client. A lot of times, if the scarring is not, if it's in there, you may have to do a chemical peel where layers of the skin have to be lifted. All right. And like I was stating before, a couple of weeks ago, when we talked about the LED, melanin is down below the layers of the skin. So it's you have to go 4 or 5 layers down. If you don't have any product that'll drive, you don't have anything that'll drive that product down, it's not helping if it's just for the surface. Because that pigmentation, that dark spot is not just on the surface, it's deeper. So you will need something like the LED to drive that product down for it to start working. Okay. If that doesn't work, I will move to a chemical peel, whereas the layers of the skin will have to be peeled away. And as they push that pigment up, it will be new pigment will be under it. Even pigment will be under it. And so chemical peels are always an option, but to me, it's the last option. Sebaceous hyperplasma. These could be benign lesions, but they can have oil base, sebaceous. You refer them to a physician. Okay. Seborrheic dermatitis. This could be an excess oil production. It can be flaky, but it could be kind of cakey as well. And so you see redness, you see irritation, but you'll see flakes, but you just tell that it has oil connected to it. So it'll be like chunks. Let me tell you, if you go without shampooing and cleansing a particular area, this could start to smell. Okay. This could start to smell, especially if people who we deal with people's hair and scalp all day because it's right there with their face. And when you see something, say something, you notice something going on around the hairline, pretty much the skin on the face, the nails are also going to be associated with it. We looked at sensitivities and we talked about sensitive skin. It is a condition of the skin. Hold on one moment. All right, guys, thank you for giving me that moment. Had to take some medicine real quick. All right, as we jump back in, as we talked about sensitivities, sensitive skin can be connected to any skin type. So skin sensitivities is a condition, sensitive skin is a condition and not necessarily skin type. Okay. Um, you have solar comedones, which are large open comedones, usually around the eyes due to sun exposure. Okay. Be careful around that area. Usually the skin is thin around that area as well. You also can possibly see individuals who have aging caused by the sun in those particular areas too. And so we want to work, and we can maybe do a two-part. We can work on smoothing the wrinkles out in that particular area. And a lot of times you have night creams, eye creams that can tighten up around the eyes and under the eye area. And you will actually see some youthfulness start to come in once that skin is tight again. Strad or stretch marks, okay? Dermal scars used to, due to rapid expansion. There are oils and creams and things like that that try to, bring everything together. A growth spurt, puberty, pregnancy, and weight gain all are causes of stretch marks as well. That has been an issue with many individuals. That's been an issue with many individuals, and with stretch marks being something that over a period of time they found many solutions for. Just doing some research, having some recommendations for your client will be amazing. Some has been individuals who do micro shading, and then of course body contouring, things of that nature. They have many, many alternative options to, for fast, quick fixes. Looking at sun damage, okay? So UV damage to the epidermis and dermis. As we know, the more you're out in the sun, especially unprotected, you're gonna find wrinkling skin, collagen, elastin breakdown, pigmentation issues, and cancer. So here's the thing too, the melanin is great. It does block sun, but you need sunscreen. Everybody needs sunscreen. It's something we're gonna preach all the time. All right. When the sun um, hits the skin, it has this UV that goes to try to break down the skin. I would say, how do I say this? It breaks down what holds the skin together. All right. So, along with melanin, we have great stuff like strong elasticity, strong collagen fibers. All right. And elasticity is like a rubber band. So just imagine the tight rubber bands when it just holds the skin tighter. If the sun or UV rays break down the skin, that means that rubber band is going to stretch and it's not going to bounce back the way it used to. So it kind of is like you worn out that rubber band and it loses its tightness. That's when the skin starts to sag. And if there's excessive skin, it can sag and then it can have wrinkles. Okay. The collagen, which makes it all sit up and perky, makes it have, just all that you just squeeze in the cheeks. The collagen breaks down as well. So those fibers that have held things together, when one thing damages, especially elasticity, then also the collagen, the moisture levels in the skin are going to be damaged as well. So a lot of times with wrinkled skin, you will see dry skin because everything that held it together has now started to break down. Okay. And the sun can do that before anything else can do that. So we want to make sure that we have some sunscreen. Telangiectasia, here we go, talking about the capillaries. You have internal and external causes of why you see them. And then, of course, technical term for wrinkles and aging, you have rye tides. So I wanted to go over those conditions. There's 15 common conditions, okay, that we deal with. So the check-in question was list 15. If you can list 15, you got a pretty good chance of being a great conversation during the consultation. And we look at the causes of skin conditions as a review, just being aware of different things that can affect the skin. Always having your eyes open, always training your eyes, using every moment as a lesson. Okay. And so, of course, we know internal is just aging. As we age, every 10 years, you can see aging starting to lock in. This is why most of the time in your 20s and your early 30s, they tell you should have normal skin. You should not have any issues going on with your skin. This is the time that you prevent. This is the time that you maintain beautiful skin. And if you're doing that throughout your years as you age and number, you're going to see that skin being preserved. Okay. And so in the skin, it looks like you reverse aging, but we know where we are as far as age number. So the issue I have today is seeing so many individuals in their 20s and 30s. I'm kind of disappointed. They're not supposed to have troubling skin. Okay. But we have so many, even teens that vape, that smoke, that also drink, that also taking other drugs. So what happens, we are increasing the aging of our body. We don't have the number yet, but we look older. They look older. Okay. And so what happens when they when they get to the number that they're supposed to be at, they're going to look way older than what they are. Okay. Um, and so that's something to tell young people, that come in. Stress, drinking, smoking, it just puts on more aging on you. Okay. As an individual, maybe in their 40s and 50s, just first time taking self care, you can tell them as well, look, just be a place for wellness. You can give them information that's going to help and tell them, help me, help you. If you're really serious about your skin, let's come up with a plan. But these are the things that I need you to reduce. All right. These are the things I need you to reduce. Of course, I wanted to talk about tanning beds. There's so many options when it comes to tanning, but I don't steer away from tanning. I like to pick it up and do the most creative option. I love tanning. And the reason why I love tanning, if for a person of color, it's bronzing. So if I'm going to a wedding or if I'm going to vacation on the beach, Miss Cox may go get a tan. You'll say, Miss Cox, why do you want a tan? I want to look bronzy. I want to look like I got this beautiful shine. And I got that from, I was at a show and just walking around, and they were like wanting to do a tan on me. And I know they wanted to do a tan on me to show that, African American girls can get tans too. But it's not something that everybody does. I know Beyonce does it. A lot of people do it. You don't even know. But it's to enhance my melanin tone. Okay, so it's like a bronzer, all over bronzer, kind of like a highlight area. Amazing. Okay, I got the spray on tanning. It lasts a couple of days, and as it on my skin, as it washed out, the more I showered and it washed away, it just still looked amazing on my skin. It had a nice little glow. You have other individuals who don't have melanin, but it's still hard to tan. So they may go into the machineless tanning as well. And so that's something I would love for everyone to pick up or to explore because you can make a lot of money off tanning. So whether they're trying to get away from the beds, but the beds are still popular. And if you had one tanning bed, you'll make more money on that one tanning bed and you'll save your time than anything else you'll be doing. That one tanning bed turns around so much money. And especially if you guys are going into suites or you have a place and there's an extra suite room, put a tanning bed in there, certify your team, find some training, certify your team in performing tans, spray on tanning, and that tanning business will bring more money than anything else you have going on in that business. Okay. Is anyone interested in tanning? You want to learn tanning? Good morning. Good morning. Is there anyone interested in tanning?
I'm interested. This Maya.
Okay, yes. That would be amazing if you learn tanning. And just to talk figures, I'm always going to talk some figures. A lot of time people have memberships of $30 a month, $60 a month that allows them to come in no more than 1 or 2 times a week. Well, they can't tan for more than 15 minutes at a time. So they're coming in paying a membership and they're only coming in using your facility for 30 minutes a week. So 2 hours a month, you're getting $60. 2 hours a month, you get anywhere between $30 to $60. Let's say, for example, and I'm gonna pull my calculator out, that you're doing lashes on one bed. You say you have two suites. One room is for tanning. The other room is where you work. That tanning bed is in there, and just say you're open 12 hours a day. Just say 8 to 8. Okay. So 12 hours a day, 8 to 8. An individual tan will probably be that usually about $1.50 a minute. Okay. So you got 15 minutes, you're looking at 15, $20, $25. Okay. Let's just do the low ball of just $15 for 15 minutes. How many, if there's 60 minutes in an hour and it only takes about 5 minutes to prep the room for the next person, I'm gonna do about 3 clients. My bed can do about 3 clients an hour. Okay. And if I'm at work, if that bed is working 12 hours time 3 clients an hour, that's 36 clients in a day, time $15 a client, that's $540 that day. Did we do any work? We just sprayed and cleaned up, okay? And went in and sprayed and cleaned up behind everybody.
I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
So, is it a difference between like when they spray tan them down and then the tanning bed, like those two different services?
They're doing the same thing, but yeah, they're different services. The spray tanning doesn't last as long, and most of the time, individuals who have a hard time tanning, which is going to be, um, well, everybody, I would say Caucasian European, some of them who are very, very pale have a hard time tanning. So you put them in a tanning bed, they don't really tan, they burn. Their skin becomes very sensitive. So they would do the spray tanning. And then those individuals that are like Greek, Italian, Spanish, African, we would tan because we have melanin. So our melanin would get a little darker. But you do have some individuals that will not tan in the machine at all. So you'll have to like color their skin. That's where the spray tanning comes in.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. And the spray tanning, it's just like if someone was doing airbrush, like airbrush tattooing, airbrush makeup, you would, it's like an airbrush machine for the body. You would build, you would build on, I guess, like play with the color formulas to make sure that you're getting the right tone for them. And so that's the only thing. You just have to work on the right tones for individuals. Some want to be dark, some want to be light. And sometimes the spray tanning over a period of time gets darker. So you may start out light for about a third day. They may get dark. Spray tanning doesn't last as long as regular tanning does because people are going to shower. Okay. And the more water gets on it, the more it starts to fade. So that's why you see individuals who are very, very pale, they're running to the tanning beds or tanning salons twice a week because they don't want to be as pale. They want color to their skin. And that's where your business starts to grow because you know they want to come in. Now, safe, you're not supposed to do more than one 15-minute tan a day, being safe. All right. So guess what they end up doing? They would go get a 15-minute tan from you at around breakfast time. And then they'll go to maybe Ashley's salon around in the evening and get another 15 minutes. What they're doing, they think they're getting away with something, but they're just causing aging and possibility of burning in their skin. So whereas they're only supposed to do once or twice a week, you do find individuals that have memberships at different tanning salons and they go every day. This is where you start to see a lot of redness, a lot of increased aging, because they're just wearing their skin out, trying to maintain a certain color. And when I tell you tanning is a all year business, because most of the time you'll make most of your money, a lot of money, you'll make it in the winter months where it's cold and people start to be pale. Okay. So you'll see tanning beds, tanning companies, not just tanning beds, that really soar in the fall to winter months. All right. Because, people true color comes out because of the cold. And so you want really, really pale people want to have some kind of color to their skin, whether it's orange or bronze, they want to have something to their skin. So it really, really increases a lot. So I was doing at $540 a day. Let's say you're open 7 days a week. So $3,780 a week. On Marketplace, if you find a used tanning bed, it may be 2,500, maybe 3,000, a good one. So your first week, you got your investment back. Your training, as far as you're gonna do spray tanning, may be anywhere between 1,500 to 2,000. You almost double your money back the same week. If you have $3,780 a week, time 4 weeks a month, that's 15,000 a month, time 12 months. Just off of one tanning bed that you just rotate, that's $181,000, 440 cents. I would take 10,000, let's take 20,000 off. You got rent, you got insurance, you got training, you got products. Maybe take another 10,000 for part-time. You got a couple teenagers that work part-time, they get paid minimum wage just to spray the machine down. And you're talking about you still taking home like $130,000 off of a space, a bed, or training that you had nothing to do with. You didn't have to use any of your own skill. It becomes passive income at this point. Excuse me. So everybody should look into tanning. Okay. Everybody should look into incorporating that into their business, period. There's so many ways to make money in beauty. And like I said, everybody loves a good tan. So I did want to share that with you guys. We reviewed internal effects of the skin, but I do want to talk about these things here. When we're looking at our consultation, guys, even you, Maya, for Lash Specialty, when we're looking at our consultations, these are areas where your questions should be coming from. Genetics and ethnic influence conditions. Have you ever had, does this run a history in your family? Okay. Same thing the doctors ask. Does your mom or dad did your mom have excessive hair loss, excessive hair growth? I may even ask about the grandmother, the aunties. I want to take it back a little bit. Do you remember them with a beard, a gold teeth? Did they have a lot of hair on their chin as a when you were growing up, because that helps tell me if there's something going on, it has been going on that just passed down to her, or is this something new that she's picked up? Dehydration, okay? And this is the wellness aspect of aesthetics. Everybody should be preaching wellness, all right? And so when we talk about dehydration, just having some information, you know, dehydration helps you. Remember, it's a lack of water. And so if the skin goes dry, then aging sets in, okay? Cracked skin, just the texture becomes very dry, vitamin deficiencies. And so just talk about the different vitamins that's amazing for the skin. Maybe give them a flyer, sell vitamins, gummies, something of that nature, because you want to also work from the inside out. Talk about hormones. If you have to take trainings or research hormones and medical conditions, most of the time when someone has something going on with their major organs, the medication may affect this hair, skin, and nails. So I would learn about um, diabetes. I would learn about high blood pressure, kidney failure, heart failure, heart disease, anything going on with the blood, any nervous conditions. I would learn about some of those major things that we see people deal with and learn about how it affects the skin. Because when these clients come to you, they're coming to you, they have internal care to stay alive, but then they also want to look good as well. So then the doctor may say, no, all because you want your skin to look amazing, you can't come off this medication. So you got to figure out something. Okay. Of course, puberty is always a thing that's introducing the teens to self-care. A lot of times what people have going on, they could just be in puberty and you have to wait and see what they go through. Now, in puberty, you maintain, okay? You prevent, you maintain. Every kid their story is not pimple breakouts, okay? But you have to maintain. Sometimes you got to be ready as early as 10, and I would say as early as 10 because we got some young ladies who get cycles at 10 or before 10. So when that is happening, they also should be learning about self-care, how to take care of the skin, hair, nails as well. If they play sports, it's a whole nother ball game. We're talking about Asian, Caucasian, there's different things going on with the skin structure, some more sensitive at a certain age. Pregnancy, of course, causes us to have a lot of things going on with the skin. Pregnancy and also going through birth control and different aspects of birth control and coming off of birth control. So going into birth control, you may see different aspects going on with the skin, maybe for the first 30 to 60 days. But coming off of birth control, you may see the skin going through different things 30 to 60 days. You just have to wait the process. Make sure the client's communicating with you. I wouldn't do anything drastic. It was maintenance and preventative until we pass this mark. Of course, menopause, there's early onset. There's so many things that could go on with the skin during this time. The reproductive system is starting to do something different. Hormonal system is doing something different. I need you to research that and flow with it because your clients are going to deal with this, okay? And so you want to be if you're considered an expert or guru, you're going to take time outside of servicing clients and enhance your knowledge of these internal effects of the skin. So with these things going on, what could happen to the skin? That's your question. What do I have to deal with someone constantly taking high blood pressure medicine? What does that look like in the realm of treating this person's skin? If someone is diabetic, what does taking medications for diabetes look like for someone who is treating this person's skin? What should I be looking for? All right. So those are absolute where your question should stem from. You're going to get a little deeper. Okay. And when you get a little deeper, clients will really appreciate what you have going on. Healthy skin, let's take note here. This is what healthy skin should look like. It's 10 healthy habits for the skin, and then we're going to move on to our next lesson. If you have to put this in a flyer, this is what we're teaching, this is what we're preaching. Okay. The skin should avoid sun exposure. So sunscreen is what we preach to everybody every day. Okay. Here's the wellness coming in, the balanced diet. So what I'm gonna challenge you with is, as you find out what's going on with a person's skin, also educate them on ways they can do better. Okay. Drinking plenty of water, getting plenty of rest. This is the wellness aspect of what makes the skin amazing. So we know the internal issues, and then we know what we should be doing or how they can participate to make their skin look even more healthier. Okay. It may sound like you're a counselor sometimes, but definitely this is the wellness side. And this wellness side should be pushed right as much as the aesthetic side. Okay. All right. If there's anything else in 5 that we have not reviewed, lastly, I want to talk about contraindications. And I know you've heard me say that. We'll talk more about contraindications next week. But contraindication is simply doubt. If there's doubt, if there's doubts about a service, do not do it. Okay? A contraindication is the red flag that pops up that says, we probably shouldn't be doing this. Okay? Medications, topical exfoliating agents, makes the skin very sensitive for facials and waxing. Those are certain contraindications that we cannot get those services. If someone is seeing a dermatologist and using retinol creams, no, they cannot get wax services. Those creams are very penetrating. They sit in particular areas. They're doing a particular thing for the skin. And if I put hot wax across that, I'm going to pull that skin up. Okay. And this person is going to heal very bruised and with the scab. All right. So a lot of time, illnesses, diseases, different medical conditions may cause us to have contraindications where we cannot service the face and the body. Okay. So how do we know this? By having conversations with our client, trusting yourself in your skin analysis, also getting a little deeper, talking about some of the things, the issues, internal issues, and what other treatments they've used, if they are under the doctor's care. Listening to them tells you what you're able to do. Okay. Listening to them tells you. So evaluating them, training your eye, making sure what you see lines up with what they say. A lot of times what you see does not line up with what they say. So we got to become the expert and know when a person is lying. It's just, they're just not wanting to tell you the truth about what's really going on. And this happens when they don't want to reveal their medications. And so you got to find a place that you stand on it and you don't move. Okay. It's just really comes into policy as well. So I wanted you guys to take a look at that. And as you take a look at that, we're going to prepare to close out 5. We're going to review study guides next week. Monday, review study guides. I'm going to email it to everybody, and then we'll prepare for the exam on Wednesday. Okay. We're introing into hair removal next week. All right. And more state board prep on tomorrow. May do a little hair removal tomorrow, just some basics. And then more state board prep on next week. Okay. I'm preparing to move over to the lash course at this moment. My steady students can stay on or you can log off, whichever one you would like to do. Okay. I'm going to stop share and build up. I'm going to close this live stream and then I'm going to start back when we get ready to do our last specialty class.